Hello everyone, welcome back to the kitchen table. Today on the kitchen table I'm going to be taking my first look at the Bebop drone by Parrot. You'll remember that I won a competition, my first one ever. I was so pleased, from courtesy of the UK Drone Show, which is happening at the NEC in December. I'll put some details of that down below, and obviously Parrot themselves, who are sponsoring that through them. So I've decided that I ought to have a look at it because I've had absolutely no exposure to the Parrot drones, never got into them before I was flying sort of phantom size things, so I have no idea what makes them tick. So I thought we'd do a two-part review. First part, we're going to have a look at construction, what you get in the box, the app, and how it kind of fit and finish and how it feels. And then I'll do a separate video where we look at actually the whole flying it, whether or not it's any good to control with the tablet, and sort of some example videos. So, before we go any further, as is tradition on this channel, we always have a beverage whilst we're discussing our drones, usually alcoholic or caffeinated, but today, just to ring the changes because I'm very thirsty, I've got some Capella freshly squeezed apple and raspberry juice, which is going down very nicely, so cheers. Most refreshing, and no, before anyone asks, there is no vodka in there. So, the Bebop by Parrot. I'm not going to sort of do a full-on sort of unboxing nonsense. You can find all that. It's more about what it looks like, how it's put together, some of the pros and cons and bits and pieces. So the box is relatively empty. You get this multi-language quick start guide in about 1,000 different languages, which is good. You get a box of adapters, so I think rather than putting different chargers in for different territories, it's one charger and you just change the adapter, which is, you know, pretty handy actually. I suppose if you're going to go and use it overseas, there's no need to have a separate adapter. But let's get to the business end first, shall we? So in the box is the Bebop itself. It's got a smart little thing. It's I quite like the kind of way it's put together. The frame, the body is some sort of magnesium, this bit I understand, which acts a bit like a heat sink and gets quite hot. The arms are, you know, have some strength, but to me feel a little bit like they might be a bit brittle. This whole top bit here is polystyrene, and the lens cap there's the fisheye 40 megapixel f2.2 equivalent lens. The cap cover for it there. Other than that, you've got the kind of optical flow type, well, I don't know, it's optical, I think it's ultrasonic thing underneath, and the classic kind of rubbery dampers that we're all used to from the gimbals, which again, it's using the top down principle. So this top part is being separated from the motors at the bottom. Battery, USB port, and that's it. 4 props. They are not self-tightening, but they are fairly simple to click on in a quite robust way. You've got, reminds me a bit like a GU10 light bulb. So you've got 3 screws, which, you know, you put the props on and turn it. There is a little tool in there to help you hold those still while you take them on and off, and so that's that. It's kind of, it is what it is. It's surprisingly weighty, a bit toy-like, I guess, but certainly very nicely put together. You know, little things like the cable runs underneath. You can see where they've put just little dabs of hot glue or equivalent to make sure that everything runs down very nicely and stays out of the way and isn't going to kind of go flapping around. So yeah, it is what it is. The legs are solid. There's a small rubber pad on the bottom. There's no kind of damping or spring loading in that. They are solid. So it's probably not going to survive too many massive impacts, although again, there is a bit of give in the arms. So that's that. The only other things you get in the box, well, you get 2 batteries, which is good. Each battery is supposed to give you about a 10 or 11 minutes flight. You get 2 of them. And they kind of look like this, little nodules. They're lithium ion polymer. 1200 milliamp hour, quite light. And they have this little kind of nose bit, and more on that later. The charger is fairly straightforward. You put the relevant adapter that you want on the back. It's what's it putting out? So it's putting out 12.5 volts at 1.2 amps, and it just literally sits in there like that. So if you lock it down there, and it's those contacts there that are doing the charging. So that's a fairly straightforward system, and there is an LED light on the top which will tell you when it's charged. Good to have two in the box. That's, you know, nice. What else do we get? A USB cable, as if none of us have enough of those. One set of spare props, and these interesting plastic and expanded polystyrene bump guards. I quite like these. If you're going to fly indoors especially, and it will fly indoors, you just clip them onto the bottom of the motor housings there, and it's probably enough just to stop you from impacting the wall too badly. There is some give, and you know they're fairly easy to pull off, but nice touch that they provided those as is. So again, for beginners, you can have those in. They weigh about, well, very light, 10 grams or so each. Easy on off. Two of those, nice idea. And that's it. That's all you get in the box. The quick start guide is almost next to useless. Really, Parrot don't provide any other instructions. They want you to go and watch lots of videos and go and look at their website, which, okay, is fair enough. It's GPS enabled. The GPS receiver is under there. It's digitally stabilized image, so there's no gimbal as we know it in there. It's done digitally. So as the aircraft does all this, the algorithms inside work out what's going on, and they stabilize the image. So I think the way it does that is by basically having a massively wide fisheye lens, which it then processes to flat, and so it's obviously using that extra stuff outside the frame to stabilize, I think, but I don't know. That's just my best guess. Things I don't like about it so far: little Velcro strap to hold the batteries in place. That's fine, and they kind of lock in, but annoyingly, when I saw this little protuberance here and the little connectors here, I thought to myself, oh great, it's going to be a click-in battery and away you go. But no, what you have to do is there's an actual cable that's inside there. I don't know if you can see, standard sort of a connector, which almost has to be shoved inside a hole underneath the circuit board there. The nose, that's tested the robustness of the batteries. The nose part of the battery, you have to sort of force in, and I don't know, the wiring in there is under some tension, really. So how long that will last, I don't know. So that's something that's a slight concern. Yeah, it's a bit awkward, and but it's not a deal breaker in any way, is it? And I'll forgive them because they give you 2 batteries. So that's pretty good. The rest of it is completely empty, because what you're supposed to do is attach it to your phone or your tablet, because it uses a Wi-Fi link. If you've watched anything on the Phantom series, the Phantom 2 and Phantom 3 and anything like that, you'll be familiar. It uses a Wi-Fi link between the drone and the app, and the app is what is used to control everything. So let's go and have a look at that. Okay, so here we are. I'm actually had to steal my son's Android tablet, because my tablet, which is a Nexus 7, is running the latest version of Android 5, and the Parrot app Free Flight 3 that you're supposed to load does not play very nicely. They haven't updated it as yet to take, to be fully compatible with Android 5. So there are icons missing, which is no good. So I've borrowed my son's, which is running on Android 4, 4.2.2, I think. just for reference. So I've just switched the Bebop on, and we should see, and we should get, at the moment it's saved it here, is not in range, but basically very much similar to the Phantom, you just need to access the Wi-Fi. So we'll wait for that to boot up. I don't know if you can hear, if I come over here, there's a fan in the Parrot, which is quite loud. It makes a lot of noise, but it does get hot, so I think it needs all the cooling it can get. So we'll just rescan and see if we've got it in range there. Oh, off. And back on again. Come on. Let's see if we've got it. There we go, and it's now connecting to the Bebop drone network. Great. So if we now go to Free Flight 3, which is the app, and launch that. And here's the layout. There we go. It's quite swishy. It works with iOS. It works with Windows Phone as well. It works with Android, on phones and tablets. So basically, you've got several sections. Drone Academy is kind of a sign-up thing, and you sign in, and you can, it will take you through it. If you're not linked to your Parrot, as I am, as you can see here, we have the video feed. You will get here a rolling video of how to go about connecting and bits and pieces. And then gallery is where you store the stuff. So as you can see, if I go, let's have a look at the latency. I'm going to move left, 3, 2, 1. Now, there is a delay, but it's not much. 3, 2, 1 now. And if I'm going to pick it up in my hand, and I'm sort of jiggling it around a bit. I'm banking it hard left and banking it hard right. That's quite impressive. I've got the thing at 90 degrees and it's holding the image straight. It's quite bizarre seeing it do that without a gimbal, but we'll obviously test that when we go for a fly. But the bottom line is the control system is touch screen. So as you see, you get some, let me just bring that out a little bit. You get a magic takeoff button, which will set it up and it will go off and hover a meter up. And then you obviously get buttons on this side, and you get a virtual joystick on this side. And then you'll see here GPS reception level, battery percentage, your speed and height output. This one here resets your level, which is quite interesting if you've gone up. And then again, if I tip, can you see, look, can you see the in the middle showing you the actual angle? It goes quite far before it decides that it. Oh, hello. That's one thing I noticed, that fan, if you press down on the top of the body, you interrupt the blades. But you can see, look, this is the action I'm giving it, tipping up, tipping down. And it's pretty reasonable stability. Quality looks very good on the screen anyway, as a preview, nice and crisp and clear. But, virtual joystick. How will it be? We will find out. What I quite like is the big emergency button. What that does when you press it is it cuts the power to everything. So it will plummet like a stone, but if all else fails, that's good to have, I guess. And there we go. That's the basis of the app. It's free from the various app stores, obviously, and it looks quite swishy and quite smart and neat. But the proof of the pudding is going to be in the flying. So join me next time when, wind and sun permitting, we'll go and take this out. We'll have a test of the GPS hold on this compared to, say, something like a Phantom, and we'll take some footage and I'll kind of give an impression of what it's like to fly it using the tablet, because surely over Wi-Fi there's going to be some latency, but we will find out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this part 1. Join me again soon, and if you'd like any more details, there's links in the description below the video. Thank you as ever for your support, channel patrons and subscribers and donors alike, and if you'd like to help out in any of those ways, links in the description as well. Until next time, I will see you again soon, back on the kitchen table. So cheers!